Govinda Gopala Jai is one of my new songs which I composed. When I say compose, actually these songs are gifts to me. It's not like composing sitting with a pen and writing on paper. It's something like an impulse from the heart. It just comes up inside me. I think true composing is always like that. We draw from the other side. We draw from the divine, and that's what artists do. So this song Govinda Gopala Jai Jai, some of my students ask me, what does it mean, Govinda Gopala? And Govinda in India is Krishna as a child. And in the West we have this notion, this understanding that the Hindus are heathens and they worship multiple deities and all of this. But in reality, what we see as deities are aspects of God or qualities of the divine. So Govinda is actually the quality of usefulness in creation. We're talking about Krishna as a child, but usefulness in creation, it's incredibly adorable, it's very lovable, it's very beautiful and magnetic. When you see a small kitten, you just want to touch it, you want to just caress it. It has this beautiful magnetic quality of being lovable, being adorable, being attractive. And every child has this. So Govinda is God's quality expressed in creation as usefulness in the form that it's playful, adorable, it's lovable. And that's what Govinda really means. So Govinda is not just about Krishna as a child, it means the quality of divinity which is expressed in the beginning of life, of animals, of humans, and everywhere. When you can start seeing this, and when you start singing this quality Govinda, you start invoking it and mixing it with your conscious, with your mind, you start becoming one with it. This is the Indian tradition of chanting. We chant, we sing certain qualities of the deity to start merging with them, start melting into them. And this usefulness, this joy, this playfulness, this love start coming forward. So Govinda Gopala. Gopala is a quality of beauty in creation. It's when you see the beautiful flower, when you see a sunset above a lake, you see some of this incredible beauty which God's expression in creation is. The beauty we're seeing is not in the matter. The beauty is the consciousness of God manifesting in matter. It's radiating, it's shining there in the creation in front of us. And when we start becoming aware of this Gopala, this awesome ecstatic quality of beauty in nature, we start merging with that. That's why we're singing Govinda, Gopala, Jai Jai. Jai means like we worship, we acknowledge, we recognize, we adore. Govinda, Gopala, Jai Jai. That's why my song. And this is the way Hindu tradition has found a way to worship God and to start more and more merging the soul's individual consciousness with the divinity and the omnipotence of God's qualities expressed in creation. So this is my take on Hindu philosophy and Hindu religion and how it's meant and how it's actually very practical. This is not worshipping deities as a heathenism. It's a real, very practical way of using chanting and singing to merge your heart, to merge your whole being, to merge your consciousness with the divine. And this is art used for connecting to God. In the old Indian tradition, somebody who sings, who chants, is called a Bhagavatar. I think as a musician, as a singer, my quality is Bhagavatar. It means to sing and worship God in music. And through this music and singing, to connect with the divine. When we connect, this energy of God start merging with us, start expressing through us. It start changing our life for the better. This is at the core basis of this practice of Hinduism. It's very real. It's not, of course, in the dark ages, this teaching from India come from much higher states of evolution and consciousness from thousands of years ago, the Vedic times. So a lot of this has been lost. And the modern days and age, some Hindus have forgotten. They have lost the whole caste system. Everything has been, has gotten very, how should I say, very static. It has lost its liveliness. It's lost the connection to consciousness. But the real meaning and the deeper meaning of Hinduism is in these wonderful, wonderful ideas and methods which they use to connect the individual soul with God, the omnipotent soul. Singing to God is something that was taught by great master Paramahansa Yogananda. He came to America, and he gave incredibly magnetic lectures where he was enchanted and entranced in this state of God communion, God connection. People in the audience singing along, dozens of them came out of an audience in New York and were healed just by singing the name of God, by merging with the divine. And people were healed from chronic diseases, all sorts of things fell away when they reconnected with the source of who they are, of who we all are, who I am, which is God's consciousness. What I love about India is that this consciousness, this need for connection to God is omnipresent. Religion is part of life. It's not separate from life. In the West, let's say particularly in America maybe, and other countries, it's about church going. You go once a week, on Sunday you go to church, and that means religion. No. In India, religion is interwoven with everything. Everything is little ceremonies, little rituals, little pujas they call them. All the time the people in Hinduism are making God part of their daily life from morning till night. They have a home deity, a little altar, they have these statues. The statues, again, it's not hedonism. The statues are reminders of the qualities, like Ganesh, the son of Shiva and Parvati, which is this little elephant child. It is a quality of, Ganesh is the part of life that keeps bringing prosperity to people. Again, it's a divine aspect of God, that God has put in creation, so we will not starve, we don't have to die here. This Ganesh is always there. We just need to remember it. We need to be aware of it. We need to focus on it and make it part of our life. And Ganesh is this luck, is this being taken care of, this providence, this good news coming into our life all the time. If we focus on it, we're open to it, it's like we open the faucet and the water of prosperity, the water of health, of happiness, of love, all this can come to us. Again, this is my understanding of Hinduism and how it works and how it's part in India. Just to explain India, you can't. India is so vast and so diverse. There's so many elements, and there are many religions, not only Hinduism. One of my most beautiful experiences in India was when I went to Bodh Gaya, one of the holiest places on the planet. And being around these Hindus and traveling from north to south and different cultures from, in the south, the Tamils, to the north, which people are more white-skinned than you. You see all these different expressions of India, different landscapes, different clothes, different languages. There are more than 1,200 languages in the Indian continent. Diversity is incredible. But what unites them is there's always this aura of peace in India. When I went the first time in India, 2001, for Kumbh Mela in Allahabad, the largest religious festival in the world, I realized that when I got off the plane in India, about 90% of the worries and troubles in my mind that I usually carry without knowing it, it just dropped and stayed on the plane. It's incredible. Of course, in India you have other problems, hygienic problems, noise problems, pollution problems, there's lots of problems. But this mental disease which we have in the West, this overactivity of the rational mind, being focused and controlling and trying to fix the outer world, and with a hypnosis, we're like hypnotic beings running around like crazy. This doesn't quite exist the same way in India. India has more hectic and craziness than the West. But somehow the Western mind is heavy. It's more loaded. It's more charged with doom, with darkness, with this somehow also this Christian heaviness. I'm sorry to say, it's not for Christ, the Christian religion heaviness. Catholic concept of sin. It's very heavy. When you're in India, there's a lightness. There is some softness. When you go to Indian temples, compared to churches in the West, they're filled with light feelings. With you just feel like immediately relieved. You walk in there and it's just like taking a good bath. Whereas some of the Western churches, they're very heavy. The consciousness is focused on seriousness, on God, it's serious business with God, with our sins. In India, it's not like that. It's playful, it's childlike, it's surrender, it's giving yourself to God and trusting. It's so difficult to explain these things. It's an experience. When you go to India, you need to be prepared. Everything to be different from what you know to be normal. And it's fascinating. It's also, for me personally, it's a great relief. When I'm in India, a lot of my worries, the pains in my mind, childhood depression, everything that I carry from my life and my family, it melts, it disappears in the background. And it's a very good feeling. And I start focusing on the soul, on artistic expression, on devotion, going to temples, to meditations, to yoga, and taking from the ancient vibrations of peace that make India so special for Westerners to go. I think a lot of us, we take a bath of peace when we go to India, in spite of the craziness in the outer world. It's very contradicting, the outer craziness and the inner peace.